Hello, welcome to Nerd Shack. I'm Brian, and today we're going to be discussing the Onewheel pint. Um, my thoughts on it, whether the Onewheels are worth $1,000 price tag that you'll probably pay for one of these things. They're a lot of fun, and they're also death traps. So whether you should get one of these things is going to be really considering your risk tolerance you have. I've only crashed on it twice, never broken anything, but it's in those two crash experiences that really showed me the possibilities are pretty intense, that you could really hurt yourself on one of these things, like break a collarbone. Um, the first crash was in the dirt, so I felt like that wasn't as bad as it could be. Um, but that's also where I find a lot of like the more enjoyment and unique experience is riding these things on dirt trails. If you live somewhere where there's fairly smooth hiking trails, these things are just awesome on them. They're really fun, and the ability to go, up an incline and just whiz through the the forest is it's a lot of fun. Um, Probably more enjoyment than just riding it on the street for me, at least personally. But the really cool thing, and the thing that eliminates the risk to yourself, is riding these things on the beach. You do need a more harder packed sand, so you want to be closer to the water, but that's when you eliminate a lot of the personal danger to yourself and more just the personal danger to the Onewheel, and ruining it and getting it into salty waters. Yeah, not good for the Onewheel. But that's where I just find so much fun. Just cruising along the coastline, it's just an amazing experience. And that's where I find personal the most value for these things, especially if you live near a body of water like that and they allow you to ride your Onewheels on them. Man, hands down, not even a second thought, you should get one of these things because it's just so much fun. But if you don't, and your tolerance for risks is not that high, I probably wouldn't recommend getting this, especially because there is a learning curve on these things, and a lot of people tend to push themselves on it before their skill level matches where they need to be, and you can get hurt. You can get hurt bad. And you feel confident because the board is keeping you level and holding you up. But if there's ever any kind of issue with these things, and I've seen them, there's plenty of videos out there where it looks like the board just gives out for a split second and people have bad falls. Granted, this doesn't happen all the time, but from my personal experience, once I was riding this on the pavement, this is my second crash on it, it did feel like that happened to me. I wasn't pushing the board hard or anything. It felt like it gave out. I didn't understand what happened. It happened so fast. Next thing I know, I'm, even on this thing, and then the tilt, and I go tumbling. Lucky for me, it was not at a fast speed, but it taught me a very important lesson that these things are not 100% reliable, in my opinion. So there's definitely a risk factor that I felt like I'm really relying on the mechanics of this board. And at the same time, I don't want anything bad to happen to this company, because I feel like with each iteration they make in this board, and the progression will come eventually. If the company doesn't eventually get sued or something, like that happened to a small company like that. Well, I don't know how small they are now, but I'd like to see the future of the Onewheel and where it goes, because if they can put a little more safety in these things, I think, man, they'd be like one of the most, I wouldn't say inexpensive, but $1,000 isn't a whole lot for how much fun you could really have on one of these things. So if you're older, I'm 40 myself, so I'm not willing to take big risks anymore, but I will take small risks if I think they're worth it. And the Onewheel, you have to set your own parameters, what you're willing to do, with this board. Because if you're just cruising it, I feel like there's not a huge risk for really bad injuries, because if you have some awareness and you've skated in the past or something like that, you almost know how to fall in a way that you'll be able to catch yourself if you're going at a slow speed. Um, all bets are off if you're going faster on the one wheel. But if you're just cruising it, I feel like you'd be able to save yourself in most cases, at least to the point where you wouldn't break something. Trails, that's where I really do enjoy it too, and that's depending on your speed. Yeah, you are risking some injury there, but on the dirt or if you're on the grass, that will help a lot cushion your fall. So weigh your tolerance for risk. If you have a friend that owns one of these things, you know, ask to take a spin on it because they are really cool. And if you're younger, if I was younger, I would go crazy with one of these things. So I'm kind of glad I'm not. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling now, so I'll end it there. These are just a few thoughts if you're thinking of buying one of these things. Just some opinions to weigh out there. Anyways, this is Brian signing out.